And Dr. Maria.
Dr. Maria, thank you for joining me and helping me today with this very, I think, important discussion and broadcast, because we're going to give our best estimate of what's going to happen in the Senate races. I don't know that we've got to spend a lot of time on the House. Maybe we'll give them a number, and then a few of the interesting governor's races. But the real political story is the Senate.
You're right. It seems like it's a sure thing that the Republicans will take the majority in the House and by a number of seats. And the Senate is the one that there's predictions that we may only be up one seat on the Republican side. But I'd like to thank you, Mayor Giuliani, joining me in my home state of New Hampshire.
Tell them where we are.
We are on a beautiful estate in Milford, New Hampshire, and we thank the owners for allowing us to broadcast all day today, tomorrow from this location.
We are in a barn, a very, very traditional, it's now a garage, of course, but it was a barn. And we've made it into like a studio. We've been broadcasting here all day.
It's beautiful.
And it really feels like you're in colonial something or other.
And but this is serious business we are talking about.
No, it's serious business. And I think there'd be three or four states you'd want to be in tonight that are the keys to this. This may be the key, but it also could be Pennsylvania or Nevada, and we'll go through them, and we'll give you the latest map. We're gonna use the 270 to win map just as a sort of a basic map that we can work from. If you want to get it, you just go online.
It literally
and
is
just say
270 to win. 270 to win.
And just guess for the 222, interactive 222, Senate.
270 to win.com.
There we are. Now we have it. Now we got it up. Now we're ready to go. Okay, so here's what they say. And then we're going to work off what they say and analyze it. Mm-hmm. They say 51 Republicans, 48 Democrats.
Now for the Senate.
For the Senate, leaving one real toss-up, and that real toss-up is, it looks like it's Nevada or Nevada.
Yeah. Nevada.
They get
potatoes, potato.
So I have listed, before we get to, I've listed, like, we're going to narrow it down. I've listed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 states that are up for grabs. The rest are gone. They're Republican, Democrat. I mean, a state like Alabama is Republican. Louisiana is Republican. Arkansas is Republican. We're not going to fight that. There's no question that California and Oregon, in the Senate race, unfortunately, New York and Vermont.
Right. You know that hands down that's blue.
But we'll get back to New York before we're finished.
Exciting.
Because we got a chance.
You got a chance, baby.
We do not pretend to be bipartisan, by the way. We believe, I speak for myself, I'll have Dr. Maria say it. I cannot emphasize and will not try how important this election is to the survival of our way of life, our form of government, and our democracy as we know it.
Yeah, it's scary times, right? We're seeing the judicial departments being politicized, that anybody who sneezes wrong, that's a conservative, you get your house raided. But if you really look like you're committing crimes and you're a Democrat, you get a pass. And we're not just seeing it in the Justice Department, the FBI, we're seeing it with judges that we never thought we would see that, right? Judges are supposed to uphold the law. They're lawyers. So it's a scary time for a lot of people. Massive crime in some of the urban cities. It's really terrible. New York every day sees more and more violence. Chicago this weekend, 37 people shot. Philadelphia, 5 people. Like, it's every weekend. And it's during the week, of course,
Yeah.
as well. But, people are scared.
And they want to wish it away.
Yeah.
It's amazing how the Democrats now, I figured this out during representing President Trump, but they are almost degenerate projectionists.
Yes, everything they're doing.
You can tell
yes,
all their
yes.
crimes because they say you're doing it.
Yes.
I mean, I should have known it right from the beginning. I did, pretty shortly when they came to me with all the evidence on Hunter Biden, on Joe Biden. But they picked collusion, which was totally false, because they were doing it.
Of course.
So now they're doing the remember how they always say you're a climate denier?
Yeah, yeah.
Or you're, what else? What are the
Election
denier? Of
denier.
course, they have all the election deniers.
Yeah.
They've been doing it for longer than any Republican. But in any event, so now they're becoming crime deniers.
Yeah.
We got them all going around saying the
Kathy
fear is
Hochul,
being
yeah.
exaggerated. They're criticizing the press. The press. I
Yeah.
mean, the press would die for them. And they are also inflation deniers. And the two biggest issues are, depending on where you are, inflation, crime.
Yep.
Crime, inflation.
Yep.
Or, let's make it easy, cost of living.
Yeah. I
So-
know here in New Hampshire, right? We're all
So let's
getting-
start with New Hampshire.
Yeah, we're all
How do you
getting.
think New Hampshire's going to go and what's going on here? And then
Let
we'll
me
tell you.
finish my thought about inflation. We're all trying to heat our homes right now, or get ready to heat it. We did see a beautiful 75-degree day today, but we are trying to heat our homes, and it's very, very expensive. Diesel may be limited. We may be going without. So definitely inflation is really right there for us here in New Hampshire. But there's the race in the Senate, which was always predicted to stay blue, with Maggie Hassan, who I have to say has voted with Biden 100% of the time. She and Biden have caused this inflation with that infrastructure bill, right? Every economist saying, you print dollars and flood the economy like this, it's going to lead to inflation. Not only did they do that, then they went on to the inflation expansion bill, which basically sunk the common man. They don't feel our pain. But anyways, it was always predicted to go with Hassan, but General Bolduc is making a run for it. Number one, he's beaten her in the 2 debates she showed up for, 2 or 3 debates she showed up for. And he's really coming across like a man of the people. He's doing an American Strength tour throughout the state. She refuses to do town halls. So she's acting like an elitist, doesn't want to hear from us peasants, where he is saying, hey, what's your issues? Talk to me. I want to represent you. So it's neck and neck, depending on the poll. Like this particular one we're looking at has it that Hassan's going to keep the seat.
Leaning. Which they have 4 categories, right?
Right.
Safe, likely. He's not there. She's not there. She's at leaning, tilt, and then
Yeah.
on both sides. So they have this leaning, and here's why I think they're wrong, which will change their 51-48 to 52-47 when I do it. First of all, I don't think most people know New Hampshire has no early voting.
Right.
Good news for Bolduc.
Yeah.
Because 2 weeks ago, he was
He
5
would've
to 8
lost.
points
Yeah,
behind.
he would have lost 2%.
Even though she's still slightly ahead in most of the polls, it's a number that Republicans usually overcome. I think most pollsters would tell you, you got to give a Republican 3 points. They always underpoll. There are a lot of reasons for it. We can't go into it all now. But so let's give him those 3 points, and then it's very competitive, and he probably wins. Plus, she has run a very, very, and you would know this better than I do, anti-New Hampshire campaign.
Amen. You
He's
got
run
it.
a very New Hampshire campaign.
Yes.
I remember when I
Yes.
campaigned here, I was told when I go to somebody, you haven't been here enough. I said, well, we met twice, 5 times. 5 times. I mean, people in New Hampshire expect retail politics.
Yeah.
And he's giving it, she's not.
We are used to, and we expect candidates to listen to us, come out, do town halls. Listen, good, the bad, the ugly, whatever it is. Like, we're going to give it to you, and you got to take it and listen and work with it. And she has hid from the people.
So I would, if I were doing this, I would move this to leaning, I'd put it just the opposite. I'd put this leaning Republican.
Yay, I like your map.
You like my map?
I do.
You like what I'm doing with it,
Because I love my state.
huh? And you want to save it, right?
And I want to save it.
So now it's leaning, so that changes it to 52-47. You'll see this switch around a little as we go along. So now we're just going to go south from there. We're going to go to the other race that I think maybe is the most watched race in the
Yes.
country. Maybe not the most important, but in many ways the most interesting. That's Oz and Fetterman. Here, we do have early voting,
Yes.
which is the only thing
And-
that makes this.
Yeah, and like 1 million people may have voted, or is it that much? Maybe it was in totality. I've heard 2.5 million people have voted. Maybe that was Georgia. I don't know. But
Georgia had more voting than Pennsylvania.
yeah,
Last time they had 1.5 million mail-in ballots. Well, they seem to have more mail-in ballots. Well, they seem to have an endless number of mail-in ballots. I'm not going to get into that right now because I want to have sour grapes. But in any event, I would say if this were New Hampshire
yeah,
and they were all voting tomorrow,
yeah.
Oz wins by 5. In other words, they're all voting tomorrow.
Yep,
They
yep.
all have taken in the debate.
Yes.
They've watched the fact that Fetterman is it's a disgrace.
Here's the
An
issue I
insult.
have with that early voting. So Fetterman's camp refused to debate. Early voting starts. People are going on whatever they judge a candidate on. But I believe the debates are part of a job interview. It's very important. He finally agrees to debate. So many people have already voted, and you can see he has cognitive issues because of his stroke.
He's debating for a job where he has to debate and he can't talk.
He can't.
And he can't think.
And people, I'm thinking, what if I'm a Pennsylvanian and I say, oh my God, this guy has to make decisions not only for the state of Pennsylvania, but our whole country, and I already voted for him because I didn't get to see a debate? So this is my issue with early voting and the debates and all that. But, yeah, he's just...
He also, and this is, in some ways I feel sorry for him because I don't know how much of this he's deciding. But I do not feel sorry for his wife, his family, or the Democratic Party because they're using the guy. Now, you're a doctor. I think they don't care if they kill him. I mean, when a man has a serious stroke or a woman, and you can't deny that he had a serious stroke.
Right.
I mean, you got to be an idiot. You watch him, he had a serious stroke.
And he's got a bad...
Is he going to
heart
recover
condition.
from the stroke? Nobody knows that.
Right.
Well, there's at least a 25% chance of a recurrence, and probably with a stroke that he had, even greater. You have to relax. You have to take it easy. You've got to until the symptoms start to abate. Well, the symptoms haven't started to abate.
No.
So they're killing the guy. I mean, they don't give a
Yeah.
damn if they kill him. This party at the upper level, I've said this to you for a long time, and I know Democrats go crazy when I say it. It's not you Democrats, all of you. Has become evil. It's evil to take a man who just had a stroke and put him out there and do that to him. First of all, he made a total fool out of himself.
Yeah.
But second, you're jeopardizing his life. Doesn't it matter? Well, I say Pennsylvania. They have Pennsylvania now tilting to
just
Republican.
tilting. Just
I would make
tilting.
it, I'd take it all the way up to likely because I do not believe that the good people of Pennsylvania are going to be fooled. I don't think they're brainwashed. You watch Fetterman, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, you just don't vote for him. You just say, please go home, get the rest you need. And I need somebody in the Senate who can think and decide for himself. Okay. So that takes us, let's go to the state next to it because I think it's a little bit easier. Oh, no, let's go to North Carolina next. Mm-hmm. So North Carolina was a state that was in a little bit of jeopardy. I don't even think we should discuss it. North Carolina is over.
Yep.
The Republicans are
Yep.
winning by 6, 7 points. They're going to win by 10. Let's make it a safe
It's funny, they had it likely, though, didn't they?
They had it likely, but
Yeah.
it's definitely
It's pretty safe.
it's
Yeah.
really safe.
Yeah.
Now we can get to one where we don't know. Georgia. Georgia has gone back and forth at the
Yes.
end.
Again, record numbers of early voting, right? So there's no voter suppression in this state, as Stacey
Yeah, Jim Crow,
Abrams
too.
says. Yeah, that's
What a bunch of
crazy.
liars.
And by the way, the MLB owes Atlanta an apology
They own
for pulling out.
they own about $50 million to
But
$100
again,
million.
early voting may not know the candidates that well. Who knows? Maybe because they're both known in the state, Stacey Abrams and Kemp. Oh, excuse me. We're
Well, yeah.
talking Senate, though.
Yeah,
Herschel
but
Walker.
no, but I think
Yep.
you got to when you look at the pros and cons here, you have to say Warnock was extremely effective attacking Walker at the beginning. So that early part of early voting,
Yeah.
Warnock has to be ahead.
Yep.
You combine the fact that Democrats do more early voting than Republicans, although it's questionable whether they did this time. We'll find
Yeah.
out. And number two, until the debate, Walker was in trouble. He's a guy like Zeldin who turned it around with the debate. And he turned it around because he did a very good job. I think they were expecting some stupid pervert to walk out. Instead, they saw a gentleman
Who really cares?
extremely
right?
articulate,
Right? Yeah.
has been studying these issues for years. I know that because he was very active in both Trump campaigns, and he's very into the issues. So I think he came out of it with a big bump, probably a little lead, and now it's gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Yeah, because depending on which poll, they have Herschel Walker ahead right now.
They pick it as tilting to Walker. I am very afraid that the tilting to Walker means he gets more votes than Warnock, but he doesn't hit 50%, in which case our election is in December. And
Yes, explain to the audience about the runoff.
so
what
Georgia
goes on
has
in
Georgia, as it did last time, has its own laws here, and they say you can't win unless you get 50% of the vote. So if you don't get 50% of the vote, they throw off everyone but the top two candidates. In this case, it would be Walker and Warnock, or Warnock and Walker, and then they have an election a few months later. And I would say right now, and Herschel's my friend, and everything in me wants him to win. I think he will eventually win in December.
But you think it'll go to a runoff?
I make it a toss-up.
Yep.
I make that a toss-up. So now what I've done is, let me get it in that toss-up
You're turning
column.
it green. Is green a
It is.
toss-up? What does
No,
green
it is
mean?
now.
Yeah, green toss-up.
Now
Yeah.
it's a toss-up.
Yeah.
So now we're back to 51-47, and it could be 52 to 46, because that would be a turnaround. You
Yep.
take that away from them, or it could go back to 50-48, or ultimately 50-50. So I'd make Georgia a toss-up. I think that's and by tomorrow morning I could change my mind.
Yeah, who
So
knows?
call me early, about 6 in the morning. And this also factors in, and this could put Walker over the top. Kemp is going to win, probably by 10%.
Yeah, for those people who check all the way down,
Now,
Republican.
Kemp and Walker are not completely aligned, but still, they're both Republicans. Plus, the lieutenant governor candidate there, who I think has a separate line on the ballot, Burt Jones, is completely aligned with Walker. And he's going to probably win by even more. So you're going to get people that vote for the governor, lieutenant governor, big numbers. Then they're going to have to either not vote for Walker or vote for a guy who's very left. I mean, Warnock is defund the police.
Yeah.
Warnock is reparations. Warnock is critical race theory. Warnock is Black Lives Matter. I mean, he's everything. In
Running
fact,
over his wife.
yeah, and had the nerve to go after Walker when he's got problems much bigger than Walker's that are documented. But I still say I just talked myself into moving it back, but I'm not sure.
Well, let's keep that, as you initially said, it's a toss-up right now.
The other state in the 12 that were listed as states that could, possibly go either way is one that I don't think ever should have been. And right now they have it as likely Republican, and that's Rubio in Florida. Rubio wins Florida. First of all, he's also going to get
Kind of scary that they just have it likely, though.
likely. Well, it should be at least safe.
Yeah.
But likely is the one right below safe.
Yeah.
I'm going to take it safe. Rubio wins that. Also, DeSantis is going to have more than a double-digit win over a pathetic
And
candidate.
that'll definitely help them down
Yeah,
ballot.
yeah. I mean, he hasn't gotten any attention because he hasn't gotten anywhere. But they have some pretty pathetic candidates this year. This is about the worst group of Democratic candidates I've ever seen. I mean, Fetterman doesn't belong there. Hochul is about as dumb and already crooked. He's only been there a year. Whitlis in Michigan is a horrible governor. But Charlie Crist, I personally know, is one of the biggest liars you'll ever meet. And
Tell us how you feel, Mayor.
Well, he promised me he would endorse me. And then I found out after the election he promised Romney he'd endorse him too.
Oh, so you'd say that to everybody,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be liked.
Well, and then we talked to
You have to
McCain,
have
and he promised McCain.
principles
The three of us
yeah.
came away saying the guy's a slime.
Yeah, for
And he
sure.
is. Even in politics,
Yeah, you have to have some honor.
even in
and-
politics, your word is your bond.
Yeah.
At least among politicians. This sounds a little stupid. Maybe you lie to the public, but you don't lie to each other.
I don't think you should lie to the
Of
public.
course you
but
shouldn't
you're
lie
right,
to the
right.
public.
I hear what you're saying.
Then you become another level.
But he's a real creepy guy. Anyway.
If you
he
ex-
looks creepy.
If you excluded every politician who lies to the public, there'd be nobody left. But at least you expect when you shake hands.
Yeah.
He's going. Rubio, DeSantis, big win for DeSantis, which will put him in the presidential thing, which we'll start talking about on Wednesday. So now let's go to Ohio.
Oh, we're going to go down to Ohio.
Yeah, we'll go down a
Okay.
little bit here. So
All
we'll
right.
go down to Ohio, and we have Vance and a guy who has turned out to be really, really slimy.
I don't like Tim Ryan at all. I'm embarrassed he has my last name.
I mean,
He just does not seem like an honorable person.
well, how can he say he's a moderate and he doesn't agree
No,
with
you
his
can look
party?
at his voting record.
100%.
Yeah.
And then just think of this, and I know people don't think anymore, but the other day he said he's not going to have anybody from the leadership of his party
Is
come
our
in.
sound working?
Come in and
okay?
vote and help him. And if you vote for him, you vote for the leadership that he won't allow to come in. So isn't he telling you to vote for Vance?
Yeah, basically he said they're no good.
But
Yeah.
but he's going to vote for them.
Yeah. Now, surprisingly, and I don't see it in his record, he says he supported President Trump's policies.
I was with President Trump virtually every day. I don't remember
I don't
that.
know. Ohio.
He voted for all three inflation-creating
Yeah.
bills. That's all you need to know.
Yeah.
He's a reckless spender. He was anti-cop, big time, until he changed. And he's playing a lying game with you. You should throw these people out. I'm not going to bring my leadership in. Is he not? If he's not going to vote for Schumer, of course, like hell, he's going to vote for Schumer.
Right.
So if a vote for him is a vote for Schumer, remember that. And this is a very important thing to realize. It may very well be that the most important part of this is to vote for the leadership. I mean, how much does a single senator or a single congressman or congresswoman do? But how much does the leadership do? So you
They
vote.
determine what comes to the floor.
Okay, so you vote
have
for
a lot of power.
Democrat, and the Democrat says, I'm independent. Sure, they're independent, but they're going to make Nancy Pelosi the speaker.
Yeah.
And she's going to, give out subpoenas to another 50,000 Republicans.
Yeah.
So remember, you're voting for the leadership of the party.
So what's your prediction there?
My prediction is it's likely that he wins.
J.D. Vance.
Yeah. I think I made it safe, but it's really, I should go back to likely. I'd say likely. There's still, that's only leans. Now we're likely, so we still have 51 Republicans, 47 Democrats. Now we go to Wisconsin. The state,
the mayor some water. Your voice.
the state, okay, the state of the most heroic member of the Senate, except for the one in the state next to it, Ron Johnson.
Oh, I love that, man. You know why? When so many states after the 2020 elections were saying, my God, we now fear we certified an election that had a lot of fraud or had things that weren't supposed to happen, illegalities, irregularities. Ron Johnson really heard the people's cry from that, and he listened to those legislators. So I think he's a man of honor.
No, he's a man that can read evidence of
Yep,
people taking bribes,
yep.
people jeopardizing national security, people taking money from China, and he could say, what is this? This hurts my country. We got to do something about it. And I don't care, even if McConnell tells me not to do it.
Yep.
Which he did. So he's listed as leaning, and I think that's right.
Yeah.
That's where it is. It is.
So is he at risk if he, I'm not sure.
Until 3 weeks ago, he was losing. I could move him to likely. He's got about a 4 or 5 point lead, which is a nice solid lead for a Republican.
Do they do early voting there? Do you know?
They do, but he's been up for about 3. He would be in that category of slightly winning all through the early voting.
Okay,
So
okay.
I don't think he's hurt by it, but I'll leave it at leaning because
Okay.
I don't have any other insight into it. Iowa is Grassley. Grassley is one
Another
of the deans of the
solid
Senate.
human being.
Could be the most
Yeah.
honest man in the Senate, along with Johnson.
There's a reason why the FBI whistleblowers go to Grassley and go to Johnson. It's because they're honorable and there's not a lot of them.
That's a great
It's honorable,
distinction.
yeah.
I am very honored by the fact that John McDavis said that when he was asked, why did you give the hard drive and computer to Giuliani? He said he's one of the few guys I can trust.
Yeah,
Do you know how honored I am by that?
yeah. And he ended up-
Also extremely disappointed
Yeah.
that I'm one of the, it shouldn't be just a few. It's ridiculous that it's
Yeah.
just a few. So that still remains now 51-47, and we've covered pretty much
Perfect. That's
the
perfect.
eastern part of the country or midwestern part of the country. So now we go out to Utah. Utah. Now Utah is a strange one with Day and Senator Lee, right? Isn't that?
Yeah.
So Senator,
Mike Lee seems like he's in a pretty solid position right now.
he is. He's got slimy Romney working against him. Some kind of internal Mormon thing too. I have no idea what that is, but I don't think it's Mormon at all. I think it's Romney's trying to establish a third. I think Romney is gonna try to go this third party
Yeah.
craziness.
Good luck to him.
Now, I know Romney for a long time, and I can give you a joint opinion of McCain, myself, and Huckabee. We all ran against him, and we felt like really we campaigned for him in 12, and it was hard. It really strained our.
Yeah, well, if you don't believe in a candidate,
Well, he doesn't tell the truth.
yeah.
It's hard to support a guy that doesn't tell the
Yeah.
truth. Before he ran for president, he was pro-choice. When he ran for president, he became pro-life. He was pro-gun control. He became a lifetime member of the NRA. How do you become a lifetime member of the NRA at 55 years old? You pay for it. He was pro-gay rights, then he was anti-gay rights.
So here's the thing. I don't have a problem with anybody changing because they may have learned more.
Everything.
Well, that's the thing I was going to make. Or you have new life experience, so you change your opinion. I don't mind that at all. And, oh, yeah, I just gave you a water.
Oh, you did? Well,
Yeah.
think
But the
one of-
fact
one of-
that he flip-flops for the audience and does it so much, I don't like it. I don't. But what are we saying, is
The
Mike
league
Lee,
wins.
Julie,
Mike
have
Lee
it
wins.
as-
They have it likely. I can't tell if that, is that likely or that's likely.
As we go.
They have that at likely.
Yep.
I go to safe with that.
So we are getting some questions.
Okay.
One race people are asking about going into tomorrow is the Michigan governor's race.
Well, we're gonna
Gretchen-
get to governors in a minute. I'm gonna finish this out right away. The only thing left is Nevada. And Nevada is listed as a toss-up. No way. Laxalt's winning that. And I will move that to Laxalt likely. Which
So
now
then it
gets us back to
doesn't-
52-47
Yeah.
Republican.
Yeah.
With one outstanding, which is Georgia, which I believe will get decided in a runoff.
I believe that's gonna go. to
And
the
that will
runoff.
go, and that'll go to war.
So just to recap, Arizona, you think is
Arizona.
Senate. We're just talking
Now,
Senate.
Arizona, I believe is gonna be a
Just
toss-up.
okay.
Right now, it's gonna be a
This is a
toss-up.
Senate race.
Senate race.
Yeah, we did.
Toss up remains a toss up. You're not willing to call that on election eve.
No, I would say Arizona's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Okay. Georgia
Georgia is a
Herschel
toss-up also.
Walker,
Is a toss-up.
runoff.
runoff. Okay. New Hampshire,
Go Republican.
Ohio.
Republican.
Republican.
We just talked about Nevada, but just to recap that one,
Republican.
Republican. Pennsylvania.
Republican.
Republican.
Those are the close ones. Colorado's one that some are saying may go red.
Democrat.
Democrat. And North Carolina.
Republican.
Solid. Ohio, solid
Yeah.
Republican.
Okay.
Iowa, it should never have been in doubt. Grassley's gonna win big. And Johnson in Wisconsin's gonna win by 5 to 6. So it'll be a 52-46, more likely 53. We could go to 54 Republicans. How do you like that?
So let's go to the question that one of
Wanna
your
go to
listeners
government?
has.
Let's go to
Well,
government.
let's finish the question. They probably heard it.
So the
That,
question is what?
Michigan, what do you think about Michigan's governor race?
Okay, I'm not even gonna look at, I'm gonna give you my head instead of all this gobbledygook.
It's Tudor. is-
Whitler should be defeated. Whitler is one of the worst governors, one of the worst pandemic dictators,
Dictator.
She-
Marxist policies.
and hypocrite, 100% hypocrite. She forced the people of Michigan to do things, and her husband could do whatever the hell he wanted. She could do whatever the hell
Because
she
they're
wanted.
elite.
It's like, of course, it's exactly that.
Yeah.
It's the deplorable thing from Hillary or Biden saying we're all systemically racist and MAGA people are all semi-fascist. What is this, a semi-fascist? I don't know. It's a stupid construction
I don't know.
of a guy who was left back in the 3rd grade.
You know what it is? They probably paid $60,000 for a consultant to come in, like they did with the term MAGA. They paid a consultant with probably your taxpayer money. I can't prove that. It could be from the DNC. But they wanted to see how they could insult you, the people, the most, and they came up with MAGA. Which, thank you. I'm very proud to make America great again.
Me too. And you can make me an ultra mega.
Yes.
Unfortunately, my good friend, go vote tomorrow. Because
So what was your prediction, by the way, with Whitmer and Dixon?
I honestly.
You're a little nervous, right?
Yeah,
Toss up?
I'm nervous.
Toss up. So the
I think
answer
the
to
machine,
that,
you'll
Ted,
know
was
this better than
toss up.
me, Ted. I think that the machine there is, first of all, I think the Democratic Party in Michigan is as crooked as they can be. I won't even tell you, I'm not know if I'm allowed to tell you the rest. God, I'd be so happy if Tudor Dixon won. She's an excellent candidate.
She is a good, really good
She
candidate.
deserves to win.
We got another question.
But on the other hand, I do think that it's, I do think it's going to be, well, they make Wisconsin, they make Michigan leaning,
Leading Democrat.
they do have it leaning, not likely.
Yeah.
Not likely. They have New York likely, which is dead wrong.
You want to talk about New York?
Yeah, we want to talk about New York.
Yeah.
That one I'm going to go.
Yeah. Go for it.
Zeldin's going to win.
Whoa, that would upset the
I
nation.
believe,
A Republican governor, first
I,
time since
I believe,
1994,
I
right?
believe that people of New York, in fact, if they don't vote for Zeldin, I will be extraordinarily disappointed in my citizens and really convinced that they have been hopelessly, irreparably brainwashed. This will be 20, we have 20 years in a row of Democrat governors.
Who's that?
Both elected Democrat governors went out in scandals. How do you vote for a third one who already has two
He's
major
already in
scandals?
two scandals.
Two major money
Yeah.
scandals.
Yep.
There's no question this
And her
woman is looking for bucks.
The
She's looking for
lieutenant
bucks.
governor got arrested,
The
right?
deal, I don't have the time to analyze the deal for you, but the deal with the stadium goes back to her being corrupt as a local official because her husband got the job with the concession company in 2016. Now, people should know there was a dispute in Buffalo between whether the stadium should be in Buffalo or Orchard Park. And the owner wanted it in Orchard Park, and the owner wanted the state to put in a lot of money, even though he's filthy rich. And she swung it that way. And all of a sudden, lo and behold, her husband is a major owner of the concession company. And one of the things that makes the most money in a new stadium are concessions. I mean, we're talking millions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this woman was dirty before Cuomo selected her. And given the state of the Democrat Party in Albany, and given who Andrew Cuomo is, she probably was selected because she is dirty. I can't imagine he would select an honest person.
Yeah.
I mean,
love
why would
the
he put
energy.
himself, why would the guy who's gonna use state money to write his book stuff elderly people into a nursing home and get them killed? His own number one and number two guy went to jail. Why would he want
Her
to honest
number
person?
two
on
guy
it?
went to jail. Her number two guy, right?
The guy she selected for lieutenant governor got arrested, he had to
Within
come off the
2
ticket.
weeks, yeah, or
Please, New Yorkers, you don't, there's something wrong with you if you vote Democrat in New York. How many times do they have to go to jail before you realize I'm
Do you
telling you the
think
truth?
New York or Chicago has the most governors that have been arrested?
Chicago.
Yeah, I think it's
Chicago
Chicago.
had 4 in a row that went
Yeah,
to jail, I
yeah.
think, governors. New Jersey had it at one time,
right.
every Democrat mayor went to jail.
There is a lot of great energy around Lee Zeldin. You were at a rally recently in Staten Island, and of course the crowd was yelling, "Rudy, Rudy!" They want you to be their mayor.
Because they're my
Yeah, yeah.
people, they're my people, I love them.
But there's a lot of really positive energy around Lee because he's listening to the people that crime and economy are the number
Here's the
one
perfect foil
issue.
to her. First of all, she's somewhat dumb, he's very smart. Number 2, she's unconcerned. I mean, she's like, that whole thing, I mean, here's the thing that will change this race if I'm right. And this will go down in history. This is one of the great debate mistakes ever made. So he's going on about
Yeah.
crime,
Yeah.
and by the way, specifics. I'll declare emergency, I will get rid of the bail law,
Yeah.
I'll get rid of the parole law, I'll put in more
The
cops,
yeah.
I'll refund the money,
Prosecutor, yep,
I'll get rid of Bragg.
yep.
I don't know how much more specific it can be. She is like, I don't know, I've got to see. Then she looks at him and she said, I don't know why you think this is so important, crime. I don't know why you think crime is so important. Immediately I tweeted out, now I know why my state is in a crime epidemic. When you have a governor that doesn't know why crime is so important, here's what intelligent people do, who love their children, love their family, and like to stay alive. They get rid of them. Governor tells you, I don't know why crime is important. Fire the governor. Please, New Yorkers, don't be dopey. Please, don't be brainwashed. Zeldin's a fine man. He is not an extremist.
She doubled down too. She went on some show, probably CNN, and she said it was a right-wing conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, she must have got it from Hillary.
Across the country.
Crime is a right-wing
that
conspiracy.
crime is made up.
So the guy that got arrested for beating the living daylights out of his girlfriend, wife, we don't know what it is on tape doing it.
Yeah, savagely beat her.
It got to be a felony assault.
Yeah,
You could have almost made an attempted murder if you wanted, if you
Yeah.
were a real prosecutor like I
disgusting.
was.
It's very hard to watch.
Within 5 hours, he's out. Within 18 hours, he killed her.
Yep, shot her
Did Hochul get her killed?
in front of 3 children.
Did Hochul get her killed by not inserting danger as one of the factors? New York is one of the few states, even liberals, other liberal states like California, you can consider danger to the public to hold people. This hard-headed numbskull who's only interested in making money for her and her family won't insert danger. And people are dying. The whole thing in Buffalo, the attack in Buffalo wouldn't have happened if we didn't have her as governor.
Yeah.
But that's another explanation.
I just didn't like it that she had no empathy at all. Oh, you got another question here.
We are getting some more questions,
Okay,
Mayor.
let's go to questions.
One question we are getting is about the Colorado Senate race. Any chance that Mr. O'Day could pull off an upset in Colorado?
Yes, there's a chance. I said
You
I
have it as a toss-up, right?
no. I have it as a Democrat.
Oh, this is governor. You're
But
on.
no, but I have it as
Yeah.
yes, 100%. There's a chance. Let's put it this
Go
way.
out and vote. Don't listen to predictions anyway. Go and vote, 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 vote your heart. Vote your heart.
Look, you got
And your mind.
you take a state like New York Senate, right? So it would be a real surprise if the better candidate won.
Yeah.
Joe is a much better candidate, but that'd be a real surprise. Don't be surprised if Day wins.
Yeah.
But you want an honest political opinion. It's going to stay Democrat. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, more questions coming in. Comment below your name and where you're tuning in from. And remember to visit RudyGiulianiCS.com. That's RudyGiulianiCS.com. And Mayor, what does the CS stand for?
Common sense.
That's right. So tune in all week, 8 p.m. Eastern for 1 hour, especially tomorrow night. We may be broadcasting from another special location for election night coverage. You'll want to tune in, maybe have Fox News or one of these Newsmax or one of these networks on your television, and then tune in live with the mayor on your YouTube, Facebook, and you can watch alongside and give instant reaction. We'll be reading your responses all night, and you can be a part of the discussion. Join us tomorrow night for live election coverage. We have about 20 minutes left tonight, so get in your questions, your comments for the mayor and Dr. Maria.
I do have to make a pitch in a state in which it looks increasingly like the Democrats going to win, but you're making a terrible mistake. Doug Mastriano is could be one of the best candidates of all these people. He's a colonel, 27 years in the military.
Yeah.
He was a top of the class intelligence expert.
Yep.
He's a published, noted historian. We got a man, oh my goodness, with an intellect.
And
He may get bored in the
not
Senate,
only
but
very smart, but right, he's got integrity,
he's a nice man.
loyal.
And they're
He
paying
would
him.
fight for the Commonwealth. You know. Yeah, go ahead. I just love Mastriano. I love Doug. I love his wife, Rebe. They're just really good people and brilliant. And he'll always do everything by the law. I can tell you, hands down, my hand on a Bible, he will never be corrupted. He won't be. He's
No,
just that solid of a
and so
good
they're going
human
after
being.
him because he allowed the hearings and he believes
But
the
he did the
election
right
in
thing.
Pennsylvania
Yeah.
was stolen. And he's not allowed to believe that. You know why he thinks the election was stolen? Because he saw overwhelming evidence of it from the citizens of Pennsylvania. He and I and others are sitting on hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of documents and witnesses
And affidavits.
that the courts would not listen to.
Yep.
They wouldn't listen to.
And there's a lot of fake news about court cases. There were 60 or whatever. Rudy was only involved in one court case, and they weren't allowed to bring a witness.
Why do you think they pick crooked cities to fix the vote? Because they own the courts. Who appoints the judges? In New York, we say that people elect the judges. Who?
Who?
I had to say something
Hooey,
like that.
hooey.
Well, you know what I really want to say. So here's how judges get appointed in New York. The county leader of the Democratic Party, who I made my reputation by putting them in jail for major crime, millions of dollars in bribes. I mean, these guys
These guys are just plain old, good old crooks. They appoint the judges. So when the judges get appointed, do you think they really can make decisions that the county leader doesn't want them to make? You don't think the county leader says,
I don't like hearing that. I know it happens. My eyes
and they don't even
been
have to be
open,
told.
but I don't think it's right.
They don't even have to be told in a political case, you gotta come out Democrat. These cities are crooked. They're dishonest. New York, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, Phoenix, Atlanta. I mean, they are Democrat machines that are dishonest. When you have been in charge of a city for 50 years, one political party, you do nothing to save the lives, particularly of young black men in that city, for years. You can have a weekend with 30 killed. Nobody even bats an eyelash.
I know, it's very strange.
You're a crooked city.
Yeah.
And by the way, the people representing those districts where the people are getting killed all strangely become millionaires. They're just great investors.
Yeah.
Charlie Rangel was a terrific investor. He was a terrible congressman because Harlem just got worse and worse and worse and worse. But he was a heck of an investor because he made millions.
Yeah.
I think you know what I'm saying. So now let's go look at the House.
Well, may I say for governor in New Hampshire, solid red.
Oh.
It's going to stay Chris Sununu.
That could bring Bolduc in.
It could bring him up.
I
a
know,
little
I
bit
know.
If we do it. Hey, may I say something?
You guys
real quick?
don't. You guys split votes a lot.
Yeah,
New
we
Hampshire
do
is
because we're very
sophisticated state.
independent-minded thinking. But I just have to put a plug in for best practice. In New Hampshire, I think we have some best practices and then we have one hiccup. Best practice is we don't do any early voting. If you do absentee voting, there has to be a darn good reason for it. We do not vote on machines. We use paper ballots. We do use a tabulator, but that's okay, because if there's a mistake with the tabulator, you have that hard copy of a ballot. So that, I think, is best practice. Our hiccup is we allow college students who aren't residents of the state vote, and that can sway our elections. And if you want to come to college here and become a resident and live here afterwards and contribute, you should be able to vote. But if you're coming here for your 2 to 4 years and you're leaving and you're from California, you should vote in California. Do it by absentee ballot. I know more and more politicians, great guys.
We have another citizen watching.
He
New
liked
Hampshire,
what I said.
And he's very, very happy. He's very happy about this. This is the most politically sophisticated state in the country.
You know, Chris Sununu said
no
that
question
this
about
morning on Fox News too. He said it's like, it's part of our blood here in New Hampshire.
I say that
It's part of
every
politics.
citizen of New Hampshire, because of the first in the nation primary,
Yeah.
everybody's a PhD or thinks they are in politics.
So, Mayor, we're getting some questions about that. Talk about your time up here in the Granite State, circa 2007, maybe?
I loved it.
Oh.
Talk a little bit about it. Let's talk about
I
that.
lost to John McCain.
Well, you don't have to say that part, but just how you fell in love
No,
with him.
I lost it to John fair and square, and he just outfoxed us, and he really did. We thought he was finished. He ran out of money. He couldn't campaign anymore, and he did the smartest thing for New Hampshire you could do. He came, lived here. He actually met everybody 5 times.
Yeah.
And by the time we got here,
I
meaning
never
Romney
liked
and me,
I never liked him.
we were,
John McCain.
no, we had a,
I never liked him.
we had a deficit you couldn't make up. And I think we assumed when he ran out of money, fired his staff, that John
done.
was done.
Yeah, yeah.
I even my staff went crazy. At one debate, I said, well, if I wasn't running, I would vote for John. And they said, what you want to endorse him? Why don't we give him money?
Yeah, because you're such a nice man.
But it was from the heart.
Tell how what you fell in love with here at the.
They have a
It's a minor league team for the Blue Jays.
If you watch my podcast, you've seen it because I've featured it in some of my podcasts. They have a minor league ballpark, AAA. I came here in the winter of maybe in 2006, for like a scouting out the place. and it was snow all over. There's always snow. There was snow all over. I rushed into this hotel. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I went to sleep. I have to get up at 7 in the morning. I get up, I open the drapes, and there's a baseball park right outside my window. I thought I was still dreaming. And now whenever I stay here, I go to that. This is like an advertisement for them. It's the Hilton Garden Inn.
Oh, there you go.
In Manchester.
You should get paid for that advertisement.
And they kept the ballpark really, really
It is
good.
a nice ballpark.
Okay, House of Representatives. So the interactive
Boy, look at that map.
the interactive
Red
map we
everywhere.
got here goes 221 to 204, which would give with let's see how many undecideds, but 10 undecideds. Okay.
Yeah.
With 10 undecideds. So, according to this, the Republicans could get to 230, 231 if they win all of them. They could get to 225 if they split them 50-50 with the Dems. Let's look at who they are, who these races are.
Thanks for joining us. Live on YouTube,
coming near the
Facebook, and Getter. We have still 10 minutes left, Mayor. Just wanted to let everyone know that they should like and subscribe, and visit RudyGiulianiCS.com.
Great.
Good. Now, there's the interesting race in Alaska, which has a Democrat and 2 Republicans.
But I don't get that. And Sarah Palin tried to explain this, that they went to ranked choice voting for the first time.
Yeah, I don't
But
even
I don't
understand it.
even get how they're doing it.
Ranked
I
choice
don't
voting
know.
is another. Ranked choice voting introduces into the machine a way of doing fractional voting, which then can give you a way to cheat when it isn't ranked choice. They should be done away with, and nobody understands it anyway.
I don't understand.
But in any
Yeah,
event,
yeah.
I mean, they still have it leaning Democrat, even though there are 2 Republicans running. So maybe Sarah can pull that out. We'll have to see. Could be.
Strange.
Then in Arizona has 3. Arizona has 3 toss-up, 3 close ones, 3 toss-ups, which are Schweikert, who's a Republican, running for re-election against Gavin Hodge, and they have that leaning Republican. They have Eli Crane against Tom O'Halloran, who's a Dem, and that would be a pickup. And they have that as a
Yeah.
No, they have it as a Republican.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm
And the
looking somewhere else.
And the
Yeah.
consensus makes it a likely pickup. And similarly with Juan Ciscomani, who, and this is an open seat of Ann Kirkpatrick, and they have him winning. So in Arizona, which kind of bodes well here for Masters, because the under ticket looks like it's leaning a Republican in 3 major districts.
Some kind of weird.
So that would get the Republicans right there if they pick those up to 224, which would be a nice, a nice number. So now we go to California, where you got a bunch of contests in California, which is really interesting, right? So in California, we've got. They say that Josh Harder is going to be reelected in the 9th district. The open seat, Adam Gray, John Duarte, toss-up. Republican running for reelection, Valadeo, they have him leaning to him. Mike Garcia, also a reelection. They've got that as likely. And Michael Steele, likely. Michelle Steele, sorry. So those would be Republican seats in California.
Any races that seem like there's going to be surprises anywhere?
Oh, there will be surprises. It's just hard. It's hard to And it's hard to just, to know
Yeah,
where they're gonna be. I would say that here in New York, well, not here in New York, but in New York, you've got some very, very interesting races, right? Republicans are gonna pick up anywhere from 3 to 5 seats in New York. They're gonna hold their 1 seat in New York City with Maliotakis. And
What about the seat that Lee Zeldin?
well, the seat that Lee
is hiring
Zeldin,
to run for governor?
the seat that Lee Zeldin is giving up, Nicholas Malota is the Republican candidate, Bridget Fleming is a Democrat, and it's anywhere between likely and definite Republican. Basically, one analysis says likely and the other one says definite. And I would say, look, I lived there for the summers. I know it really well. That's going Republican. In a year like this, Zeldin held it, for 3 terms, 4 terms. I would say he's going to get it again. Zimmerman Santos, toss up. I think possibly the Democrat wins that. Zimmerman wins it. Zimmerman is truly a moderate Democrat.
Well, it looks like we're wrapping up on time, Mayor.
But can I get one in?
Yes,
Because it's New York City Police Officer.
Okay, yes, please.
Anthony Desposito is running against Laura Gillen in the 4th District, which is a Democrat district, which was held by Kathleen Rice, who was formerly the DA. He is listed as the likely winner.
Oh, wow.
And then the very, very interesting race, Sean Patrick Mahoney
Yep.
against Michael Lawler. Sean Patrick Mahoney is part of the leadership of the House of Representatives, and right now that's listed as a toss-up.
Oh, that would be exciting. Yeah, you're going to be on several TV shows tomorrow because everybody wants to know your opinion about the races. And you're also going to be on several shows in the evening calling in on how the races are
we'll be
going.
back here at
And
8.
you're going to be back
And
here.
we'll be on BBS at 5.
Oh, boy, you're going to have a busy day tomorrow.
bbsradio.com. You can call in, on the telephone. Here you got to go through Ted. Well, this is a reminder of the stage here.
Is that weird bug still somewhere?
Yeah, there you are. There you are.
Mayor, are you willing to make anything for Arizona and Georgia? Election Eve, do you want to
Yeah,
put that
I gotta
red
tell
check
you,
down there?
Arizona is going to go Republican, and Georgia will ultimately either Walker wins it now or he wins it in December. One or the other. You want me to?
Why don't you put some red checks on the board
Oh,
and
yeah, just
show it
in case
up?
I'm wrong, you're gonna make fun of me.
Yeah.
But here we go. I'm not wrong. Nicer red. And where's my MAGA?
Yeah?
Also, we should say,
Ooh,
if
yeah.
it comes out this way,
Yeah.
the former president of the United States will have quite a record in endorsements. And the people who have been attacked bitterly for questioning the 2020 election, of which they list 185, right now 168 of them are either definitely winning or they're in the very likely column. So I think a lot of the Democrat garbage is getting cleaned up. Their lies, and just remember, if they lied to you about Russian collusion, which they did, if they lied to you about the hard drive, which they did, why wouldn't they lie to you about the election? They don't. It's the same group of people, same faces, same group of people. Shifty shift. Lie.
Please get out and vote. Vote Republican. Even if you are a Democrat, please this time do what's right for the country and your state. We need to get back on track. We got to bring inflation down. We got to get crime under control. Boy, I can't talk. It's getting late. And we got to secure our borders.
I believe this is the most important election we've had so far. 24 will end up being more important. But this has to go right, and we got to save our country. You're voting to save your way of life. The Democrat leadership, I emphasize the leadership, not the good people of the Democrat Party, are rotten to the core. You got to cut the head off, Democrats, and you got to start and rebuild and reform like you've done before and like we've done before. We had to do it after Watergate. You had to do it after Ronald Reagan trounced you. And that's when Clinton came along. You've got to rebuild, change your party, start liking America again. We don't need a president who thinks we're all racist. We're not. Why would you want to be president of a country where you think everybody's a racist? So let's see if we can get back to, we agree on the fundamentals of what a beautiful, wonderful country this is. And we're not going to
Everybody
attack it all
wants
the
to come
time.
here, right?
And we're gonna work from strength. We're gonna recognize we have things wrong, but they're a lot less than other countries.
Amen.
So
Thank you for allowing
Vote.
me to join you.
vote tomorrow. Vote only once.
I can't wait.
Show your identification. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody, 98% people want to show identification. The only ones who don't want identification are the Democrats. Why? Well, you know why. If you don't identify yourself, it's much easier to cheat.
Good night, everybody.
Good night. God bless America.